Hello, it is the Dibsy again, and today I wanted to create a beginner's guide to help people out who are just getting into the game or starting it fresh. And not to mention, if you would also like, I can create a TLDR if you don't know what the hell's going on in the Destiny universe, because they did cut out a lot of the content, although I disagree that you'd have to go out of the game and watch a video to get that information. If people want it though, I will create it so they know. Right now, you can see here on my screen, we are at DIM, Destiny Item Manager. So through your inventory, you're going to be able to access your arsenal and swap weapons between characters. And you're also going to see everything in your vault. But DIM is a lot more than that. It shows your progress through the ranks of the season. It shows your comp. It shows what you are in Gambit. Everything that you need to see is here. And you can also track triumphs through here. You can check your milestones and challenges for the season and everything else. Now, you can also just explore through here and kind of check things out so you see what's going on. I would recommend exploring this a little bit further than just the inventory. It shows vendors as well. So for example, Friday through Monday, you can see what Zur has. And a good example right now is he has a great glaive, which personally, I think it's a great glaive. I like incandescent immovable object. It's a good roll. You can also check your records here as well. Now, inside the records is very nice because it shows what patterns you need to unlock weapons. And it also will show the progress on your catalyst, so you don't have to keep jumping back and forth to see how many more kills you need on that exotic catalyst. Next, we have light.gg. You can come here and you can also hover over the perks to see exactly what they do with the detailed description, as well as theorycraft what kind of weapon you want to have. And you can see how it affects the stats. You can see the popular rating overall. If you scroll a little bit further down, it's going to show the theory crafting between PvE, PvP, and what's good for both. You can tell here gold is good for both, red is obviously PvP, and blue is the PvE. Scrolling further down shows everything that the community likes on that particular weapon and what rolls everyone is rocking. So you can see a lot of people like Vorpal weapon with the high caliber rounds combined with composite stock and fluted barrel. That is just for Dead Man's Tells. Next is the D2 companion app. And particularly, I just mainly use this to grab bounties while I'm in orbit, although it does have a lot of information and you can switch characters for the bounties, you can swap weapons, etc. I still prefer to use DIM to swap weapons. This is just a nice place to grab bounties while I'm waiting, and you can only grab bounties while in orbit. Next, we have a Mobalytics. This is where you can grab builds and it explains what to do to make the build work how it's supposed to work. And there's a lot of fun builds on here, so I recommend checking it out. Checking out what the communities come out with. You can see Fallout's DOT strand build. You can see Astacross's infinite boss damage build. There's a lot of builds here that you can play with, and I recommend it. Alternatively, we also have the Black Armory, which is similar. It's another website like Mobalytics, and you're going to see here they have a bunch of different builds that you can choose and use, and it tells you how to set it up, what to do, how to use it. Lastly, we have Today in Destiny, and you can see if you're farming for that exotic armor, you can go here and check out what the lost sector is for that particular day. They rotate daily. You can see what the drops are. You can see the different shields, the burn types, the champions, what the lost sector is. So this is a pretty great website as well. If you're trying to save bright dust for specific skins and emotes that you want throughout the season, you can also check the EV calendar and see what's going to be for sale for bright dust. And you can see how much it's going to cost. You're going to see what week it's going to be. You can also see shaders. It has a bunch of things on here so you can kind of plan out how you're going to spend your bright dust. Now you might be wondering, how do I level up in Destiny? If you're brand new and you're unaware, any of these little gold icons that you have access to is your key to pinnacle gear. So you can see here, if I did 3 matches of comp in Crucible, it's going to award me a rose. And that rose most likely will be decently high gear. It should be equivalent to a powerful tier 2 or tier 3. Now, just doing any of these other activities, which I've already done, will award a pinnacle if you do 3 matches. And on rotation is Iron Banner. It should rotate between Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris, both of which give pinnacle gear. However, Iron Banner has the opportunity to give 4 pinnacles. So it's definitely important to play through this, and you definitely want to be using something like Solar, Arc, anything that will trigger the progress to get that pinnacle gear in here. Alternatively, you also have Gambit. Do 3 matches of this, it will award a pinnacle for you. Same with Vanguard and Vanguard Ops, Nightfall Strike. All of these will reward pinnacles. You just gotta make sure for Vanguard Ops that you're running the current surge, and doing 5 of those will give you a pinnacle. Now you can also do the new raid, and anything on Neo Muna. All of these are going to be pinnacle gear. Just doing the weekly mission and obtaining a score of 100k or greater will reward a pinnacle. Doing the headlong time trial, doing the partition, these reward pinnacles to level up to the maximum of 1810 for the season. And each season the pinnacle cap will move, except for season 21 they did say that it will stay the same at 1810. You also have other options like the helm, where you can do the Defiant Battlegrounds, and after you're done getting the pinnacle you can also still get powerful tier 2s, and I'll explain here in a second why that's important. But you can see there's a lot of options, including dungeons that are on rotation along with raids on rotation. You can see here Shattered Throne is on rotation for pinnacle, and this week as well it was also Deep Stone Crypt on rotation. Now powerful gear is to help match all of your armor and weapons to the same level. The more armor and weapons you have at the same level, that means your pinnacle gear is going to drop even higher than that. So mainly if you have like 3 items, let's say that right now you're 1805. If you have 3 of these that are 1810, it's going to make the pinnacle that you drop an even higher level, which is even better. And that is good. On top of that, you can also get levels by doing seasonal activities, doing bounties, and all sorts of things. It gives you bonus level. You can see I'm bonus 26, and that's just for this season. After the season's over, I'm going to lose that bonus level. But during the season, it's quite helpful for a few different activities also while you're trying to level up. And then on top of that, you also want to be able to infuse your gear. So let's say I'm running this Nessa's ablation. I can't even say it. But you're running this shotgun, and it's 1800. It's going to bump you down if all your other gear is above 1800. Now what you want to do is infuse it with something that's a higher level, so I can infuse it with this long arm by using an upgrade module. Or alternatively, I also have another shotgun of the exact same model and name, and it'll combine for glimmer. So you don't even have to use an upgrade module. Now materials are also very important. You can see here I only have a handful of enhancement cores, and I only have 4 upgrade modules. You're wondering how to get these to upgrade your armor and items. You have to get bounties for enhancement cores, and you use legendary shards by dismantling legendaries and exotics. And you can buy enhancement cores from this guy, the gunsmith. And you can see how much they cost. 1 enhancement core, 10 legendary shards, 5,000 glimmer. Now, how do you get legendary shards? You can just, like I said earlier, you can just dismantle whatever you don't need or don't want. However, before doing so, I would make sure that you keep any armor that's above 60, maybe even 65. Armor that is around that level or higher is going to be very good for you, especially early on. And it also depends on how you want to play your Guardian. Typically mine, for Warlock, I enjoy running Resilience, Recovery, and Discipline. So those are the main stats I focus on, although there are ways with mods where you can get all of these to 100 if you wanted to. That will be a different video. That's more of advanced modding on armor. And then on top of that, you also use materials to masterwork items. So you can see this has 4 energy. This dropped like this. I haven't put anything in here, but I can level it up if I want to increase energy, which also increases how many mods I can put in here. And so speaking of mods, I am on my stasis build, and you're going to see everything I use revolves around me using my turrets, my Shadebinder turrets. So I use Bomber. When I use my Rift, Bomber gives me a reduced cooldown on my grenades, so I can spam more turrets. Now, Utility Kickstart, it gives me more energy under my Rift, so I'm trying to spam Rift to get Bomber to activate, and then this Utility Kickstart will assist in getting my Rift back so I can keep that pattern or rotation going. You can see here there's also other items that you can use for like distribution, outreach. You just want to read what these mods do and understand them, and just focus on one thing or 2 things at a time. If you're too diverse in the builds, it's not going to be as effective. And then you can see here in my boots are very good because they have surges. Now, when you're doing a raid, a dungeon, or something more difficult, or you need to get more damage off, you want to definitely use these based on whatever your heavy or special weapon is. Typically, for example, I have Thunderlord equipped. So what I would be running is I would be going for Arc Weapon Surge to give my heavy extra damage. But once again, you can also see here, like, things are revolving around my stasis grenades. So I can actually drop down more turrets as a Warlock. Using Innervation, every time I pick up an orb, it reduces my grenade cooldown. I'm using Time Dilation for survival and other benefits as well, because there's different things that you can stack with Armor Charge on here as well. And going to Chest Piece, this is going to be mainly for resistance. You're going to use this to survive. You can see I have Void Resist, Harmonic Resistance. I can switch that to whatever I'd like. I'm also running Charged Up, so I can carry an extra armor charge. But you can switch and swap these out to however you'd like. It's all up to you. But the main thing, like I said before, is keep in mind you don't want to be too diverse or nothing's going to work as efficiently as you'd want it to. You can also see in here, like it has a mod for glaives and lucent blade, which is for swords and glaives. Typically unflinching I leave for PvP, but there's a little trick here with the ammo reserve. So you see, if I want more ammo on my Thunderlord before I grab a banner at a rally for a raid or a dungeon, I just pop this on. It already has arc reserves stacked. It's going to give me maximum ammo for my Thunderlord. I grab the banner. After banner, I go back in here and switch back to my normal robes. I keep the ammo, but I don't have to run the reserves on my chest because I just swap back and forth. So that's a nice little tip to let people know. And then next thing is the gloves. Once again, you're going to see this build for me is grenade centric. So it's going to be spamming those turrets once again. You can see here grenade kickstart, and it stacks with armor charge as well. So it's going to help it give me grenade energy back when I pick up orbs. And it's going to also give me defense because of the armor charge. I'm also using bolstering detonation. Once again, it grants class ability energy, which is my rift as a warlock. So when I pop my rift, bomber is going to activate and it's going to give me more grenade energy. You can start to see where this is going in a circular pattern. So I kind of have a rotation I do with this build so I can get out turrets. Lastly is helmet. This is where your orb generation is going to come from. It's going to be kinetic siphon. Rapid kinetic final blows create orbs of power. This is very huge, especially for a build like mine where it's using armor charges. It's using orbs of power to gain grenade energy, and you can swap this out for many things like ashes to assets, gain super energy on grenade kills, dynamo reduces super cooldown when you use your class ability in your targets, and there's a lot of different things here. Typically I like to at least have some sort of orb generation plus a heavy ammo finder, and you can see here on the heavy ammo finder as well, if you're running exotic weapons in your primary slot, you're going to have a greater chance of getting heavy ammo. Now, there's a lot of things in here that you can mess with. You can use power preservation. You can use hands-on. You can use radiant light, powerful friends, font of wisdom. Once again, the main thing is to read what these do and try to build around one or two things, primarily one, because you can see on this build itself, I am just rocking everything so I can spam as many of my turrets as humanly possible in stasis. So hopefully that gives you an idea about mods. It gives you an idea about which armor does what. And the best thing I can say is slow down, just read what they do and try to create a build around it for fun. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is weapon perks. Now, there's 3 types of basic weapon perks. The first one is damage types. You're going to look at target lock. You're going to look at rampage, tally. All these different things are going to create damage buffs on your weapon. So you can see I have target lock. Damage increases over time as long as I remain on target. The other type is going to give boost to weapons stats. So down here, each weapon has different stats. You can see there, I have perpetual motion on the Shayira's Wrath. So by running or moving, it increases my stability, handling, and reload speed. And that's also going to be major on an SMG like this. So basically, it's good to have bonus stats depending on the weapon. And then lastly is going to be utility. When I say utility, it's going to be things like chill clip, which can freeze or slow enemies. You're going to have disorienting grenades, which can also stun or blind enemies so they can't see. That if they can't see, they can't shoot at you. That's great utility. The other one is definitely going to be something, I'm looking for it. There it is, Demolitionist. Another good example of utility is Demolitionist. Kills with this weapon create grenade energy. Activating your grenade ability reloads this weapon from reserve. So it goes back and forth. If you throw a grenade, it's going to reload this gun. If you get kills with this gun, it's going to refill your grenade energy. That is a perfect example of utility as well. So with that being said, you also want to make sure that you put mods in your legendary weapons as well. I'd see a lot of newer players not doing this or neglecting this. I have boss spec in just about all my heavy legendaries just for that extra boss damage. Typically, my heavy is going to do great against orange bars. It's going to do great against miners. So I'm not too worried about running major spec or minor spec. I mainly just want the boss damage because this is a great weapon. Heavies are great weapons for ad clear typically, especially like if you're doing LMGs or anything of that nature. Rocket launchers or Thunderlord, things like that are going to do more damage towards bosses. So you can see as well, you know, on a grenade launcher, I'm going to be running boss spec. You just want to make sure to put some sort of modification in your weapons at all times. So for example, I'm going to put this in here. I got a major spec to deal bonus damage against orange bars. This shotgun will dunk on them and kill them. Same thing with my immortal. I have a major spec on here on top of target lock. It's going to do a lot more damage to an orange bar than it normally would. Now, I also wanted to mention as well for materials, you can go back to Raoul. And if you have enough, you can trade materials in. So you can trade enhancement cores for prisms, and then you can turn prisms into ascendant shards. Alternatively, you get ascendant shards by doing in-game activities such as not Iron Banner, but I was going to say Trials of Osiris rewards it if you go flawless to the Lighthouse. You can also do Grand Masters or GMs on the Nightfalls. They will reward ascendant shards, legendary exotics, adept weapons. They are in-game activities though, so they're extraordinarily hard. As a new player, that is something that you should aim to go towards, to be able to achieve or reach that level and then be able to start learning how to do GMs and raids. And those are the in-game activities as well. Raids and dungeons are easier than GMs, and they're also easier than Trials of Osiris. So that was Dares of Eternity. I have no idea why I was looking at that. But raids are going to be in-game activities that always reward pinnacles, especially the newest raid. Whatever raid is on Rotator as well. Dungeons are also very good. You want to hit those up before trying to go into GMs, before trying to do Trials of Osiris, and definitely try doing Iron Banner before Trials of Osiris. These are all great activities to help you out and assist you in leveling up. Now, hopefully that helps. If you have any questions or if you're confused or just need clarification on anything, let me know in the comments down below. I will respond. If need be, I can even make another video on the subject altogether. So do me a favor, if you enjoyed the video, give a dibble to the like and subscribe. I appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next time on the next video.